Hi, my name is Nat Hussey. My home base is on Matinicus Island in Penobscot Bay, Maine, and here is my story of how I got into lobstering on the coast of Maine. I was born here in Maine and grew up working in farms and in the woods and building houses. And so I grew up working outdoors and being physically active. And after high school, I did go to college and law school and started work in the legal field and could never really adjust to sitting down all the time and working indoors. And after 15 or so years of that, my wife and I decided to try moving our 3 kids and ourselves out to Matinicus Island, which is of course 20 miles offshore in Penobscot Bay. And I started work as a sternman, deckhand, on a number of different lobster boats. And I can remember talking to a guy before I went out, one of my older mentors, and he said, you're going to know in about 10 minutes if this is for you. And, it didn't take that long. I was immediately just completely hooked on lobster fishing. It felt like the greatest thing I'd ever tried doing in my life. And so I worked several seasons on lobster boats, and I also worked in the one-room school out there, did odd jobs, and occasionally represented fishermen in legal matters of concern to them. And in 2010, I started actually hauling my own pots out of a little boat, a traditional old lobster boat called a pea pod, which is basically powered by oar and sail. I adapted a solar panel and a solar winch and a little electric motor to use as backup. But basically it's a lot of rowing, and if I could, I would still haul my pots that way today. But I did make the jump up to a bigger boat eventually, 26-foot diesel lobster boat, and that's what I'm working out of now. And so, what is lobstering like? Well, I get to walk out my door in the morning and walk to the wharf and get in a boat and work all day long. And so that's my commute. And I also, it's as close as a guy like me is ever going to come to being in an action movie, or it's like a hockey game all day long. You're jumping, you're running, you're carrying heavy stuff, you're in a moving platform. And so there's just a lot of action and a lot of physical activity, and I love it. And it is really hard work. Days can be long and the weather can be nasty, but it's nowhere near as hard as sitting in a chair and watching the life go by. So that's my story.